we're in the opening beats of it. It's, what is a counteroffensive? When is a counteroffensive? We're seeing maneuvers along the front line that look like what you would expect at this moment in the initial stages.
Well, let's go live to Kyiv now. The Times diplomatic correspondent Catherine Philp is there. Catherine, we've got Kyiv and Moscow both blaming each other for this. Although it's quite a big mistake to have made, this feels like it probably wasn't deliberate. Oh, okay.
Well, we have, of course, got dueling narratives. I think one of the things that I should point you towards is that the Russians haven't entirely got their story straight on this. You have differing accounts coming out from Russia as to how this happened, with some blaming Ukraine for shelling the dam, others for deliberately blowing it up. The Ukrainians had a National Security Council meeting this morning. They've got a very clear narrative of what happened. They are saying that it was at 2:50 in the morning, the explosives that had been stashed inside the hydroelectric power plant were detonated, and are saying that this was a deliberate breach by the Russians in order to complicate their counteroffensive.
And how serious is the damage, and what might that mean for? I mean, but actually, what seems to be Russian, it's possibly affecting more areas currently under Russian control.
Yes, it affects both sides of the river, the downriver from the dam. One side is controlled by the Russians and the other from the Ukrainian side. The Ukrainians are evacuating their side as we speak. It's something of an environmental catastrophe. There is several hundred tons of engine oil have spilled into the river, as well as the fact that it's inundating these communities. But the Ukrainians do seem to have moved quite quickly to get people out of those places. What I've been told by officials who were in that meeting this morning was that it's very hard for them to tell the level of damage because they have no access to the dam itself. The state energy company is saying that they don't think it's repairable. They really, they're not able to get very close to the dam because it is under Russian control. So I think that possibly the worst of the mass loss of life through flooding may have been avoided on both sides, but it still remains to be seen what other consequences there will be to this.
And I suppose the other thing that we thought we'd be talking about today is the apparent beginning of the Ukraine's long-trailed, much discussed counteroffensive. Is it now underway?
I would say it is. I think we're in the opening beats of it. It's, what is a counteroffensive? When is a counteroffensive? We're seeing maneuvers along the front line that look like what you would expect at this moment in the initial stages, where Ukrainian forces seem to be probing the Russian lines to see where the vulnerabilities are, to assess where that they might then put into action some of these Western trained and equipped brigades that they've primed ready to lead the assault. So these are brigades that have not been worn out on the battlefield up until this point. They are being held in reserve. We haven't seen much evidence of them being put into action, which suggests that they are still, working out where exactly they're going to send these troops and those munitions, and that would be, I think, we will know very clearly when that begins in earnest, because it will be a complex combined arms assault that will involve engineers to throw pontoons across rivers, to throw the means to get over these trenches and ditches and dragon's teeth, all these defenses that the Russians have built. So there'll be an awful lot of engineering involved in this, and there will also be artillery armed vehicles, and I think it will be perhaps more obvious when it's a really full-blown assault.
Before I let you go, Catherine, you need to update us on Bucci.
Bucci's huge.
So
The dog that
explain
we
who Bucci is.
Bucci was the once small puppy that we rescued from Bucha last year, from a Russian torture center. It was the town where civilians were massacred outside of Kiev, and rescued this small puppy, who is now a rambunctious, enormous Labrador mix, black Labrador mix adult dog, who yeah, is very lively and doing incredibly well.
Good. Yeah, I saw there's a really lovely video that you posted online. In fact, I'll retweet it now so people can see it. He's much bigger than I remember the videos from last
It's
year
a
when it was
lot
sort of
bigger.
tucked
Yes.
inside your jumper. You wouldn't be able to do that now.
Indeed, and his ears have straightened out, so that's good.
That's good news. That's good news. Catherine, really good to speak to you. Stay safe there in Kiev. That's Catherine Philp, the Times diplomatic correspondent.